Glycolysis produces a small amount of ATP by releasing some of the chemical energy stored in glucose. The rest of the energy remains stockpiled in the 2 molecules of pyruvate produced by this catabolic pathway. If oxygen is available, the pyruvate molecules will be transported to the mitochondria where they will be involved in the production of much more ATP. The pyruvate produced by glycolysis moves from the cytoplasm into the mitochondrial matrix via active transport. When it arrives, it meets the pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, a huge 60 subunit protein complex with 3 enzyme functions. The first function removes a carbon and 2 oxygens from pyruvate. These come from pyruvate's carboxyl group, which is already fully oxidized and contains little chemical energy. The waste is given off as a molecule of CO2. We say that pyruvate dehydrogenase decarboxylates pyruvate. However, it should not be mistaken for the unrelated enzyme pyruvate decarboxylase. This process leaves a 2-carbon fragment remaining called an acetyl group. The second function allows this fragment to be oxidized while NAD+ is reduced to NADH, storing energy. The third enzyme function of pyruvate dehydrogenase catalyzes the attachment of the remaining acetyl group to coenzyme A. Together they are called acetyl-CoA. CoA is short for coenzyme A. For each glucose molecule, 2 molecules of acetyl-CoA enter the Krebs cycle. The Krebs cycle is also called the citric acid cycle and the tricarboxylic acid cycle. The first name for this cycle honors Hans Kreb, a British-German biochemist who won a Nobel Prize for his work on covering the pathway. Acetyl-CoA is highly reactive. It readily transfers its acetyl group to oxaloacetate, producing citrate. Note that citrate is the first intermediate produced in the cycle. This is where the name citric acid cycle comes from. Citrate has 3 carboxylic acid functional groups, so it is also called tricarboxylic acid, and this is where the name tricarboxylic acid cycle comes from. Watch what happens to the carbons that enter the cycle as the cycle progresses. The net production of energy-carrying molecules from the Krebs cycle is 3 NADH, 1 FADH2, 1 ATP, and some GTP because it's not quite 1 per cycle.